HIV is an acronym for Human Immunodeficiency Virus.
HIV is an incurable virus that attacks the body immune system.
If left untreated, HIV reduces the number of T cells in the body, making the person more susceptible to infections and cancers.
The fatal infection can even progress to its final form, AIDS.
So we're talking about the HIV rate in different parts of the world. The epidemic level is 1%, so if more than 1% of the population has HIV, it's considered an epidemic. What do you think the HIV rate is in the US?
If 1% is an epidemic, I would imagine Ethiopia is much, much higher.
Probably around this.
Around 1%?
Epidemic's more than 1%. I don't know, maybe like 2%? Like it is a problem, right?
Yeah.
6%?
About 10.
0.7%.
Bringing it over to the US, what do you think the American rate is?
Like 0.5%.
Maybe like a little bit less, like 1.8. Like 8.
Maybe like 2%.
Maybe 0.5%?
The same, about half.
What do you think that the rate is in the District of Columbia?
Or 2%, I don't know.
So lower than the national average?
0.45? I don't know. 0.05%.
Like 0.5 or 0.6%.
Maybe 1%?
Actually, Ethiopia is 1.5, America is 0.6, and DC is actually 3.2%, which is almost double, well, is more than double than Ethiopia's.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
3.2%, so it's actually twice as high as it is in Ethiopia.
And the DC area is actually 3.2%, which is 2 times Ethiopia's.
Statistically, if the nation's capital were a nation in Africa, it would rank 23rd out of 54 countries in percentage of people with HIV. In DC, 3.2% of all adults ages 15 to 49 are HIV positive. In many ways, the DC epidemic is a microcosm for what is happening nationally, and many factors contribute to the high burden of the epidemic in DC. These include geography. DC is a small, densely populated community with overlapping sexual networks that can fuel transmission, healthcare access challenges, poverty, drug use, and high rates of other sexually transmitted infections, as well as stigma and a lack of knowledge of the HIV status.
So the general consensus of today is that DC students are painfully unaware of the fact that we have an epidemic on our hands.
So what are we going to do about it?
There's a sterilizing cure, and if you achieve that, it's to completely rid the body of all infected cells. And there's also a functional cure, and that's where we manipulate the immune system in a way that you don't need to take drugs anymore to control the virus.
And it used to be a death sentence, right? I mean, back in the 90s, there was no treatment available, or the only treatments that were available would just extend your life for a few more years, and that's it. Nowadays, it's a chronic disease, so people are less afraid.
Scared, yeah.
No, exactly.
In the new generation, there's a general feeling that people don't trust science. So you tell them basic facts, and they just either don't care or they don't want to believe. So that's another problem.
Cure is achievable, or at least we can try some clinical trials, but probably only in the developed world.
HIV is a worldwide problem, but it hits close to home, here in DC.
Until researchers are able to discern how to cure HIV, antiretroviral medicines, or ARVs, can help treat people with HIV, allowing them a better quality of life.
We as a community can prevent the transmission of the disease by partaking in clean needle programs and practicing safe sex and abstinence.
If you think you have come in contact with HIV, there are multiple places in your local community where you can get tested. These places include DMVs, hospitals, pharmacies, and mobile testing vans.
Though there is no permanent cure for HIV, a bone marrow transplant in Great Britain for a man suffering from leukemia has reportedly hidden the disease. Only time will tell if bone marrow holds the key to a more permanent solution.
HIV is a worldwide epidemic, but it shouldn't be here in DC.